Hello, and welcome to today's Sunshine Prepper News. I'm Willow, the Sunshine Prepper, here to spread a bit of positivity on the unavoidable doom and gloom. Instead of a deep breath, I think we should practice some laughter today, so if you are so compelled, please join me for 5 seconds of maniacal laughter. If you've never looked up the benefits of laughter, there's a Google rabbit hole waiting for you. The most important bit is that your body can't tell the difference between fake and real laughter, so faking your laughs still gets you the benefits. With the ha-ha-has of hopeful outcomes laughed away, let's dive into the uncomfortable stuff. Today we must rip off a band-aid. Plain and simple, World War III is inevitable. Oh God, the pain in my normalcy bias. It's so intense. But for real, the normalcy bias that we have around this one needs to die as quickly and thoroughly as possible. I too have tried to lie a happy place in my expectations that something prevents this from further escalating into World War, when in reality, history is more likely to look back on these years and conclude that with the amount of governments launching missiles and drones at other governments, that perhaps the shit has been flung at the fan. Maybe it hasn't quite made impact yet, and we're living in the slow motion place, knowing that the poo is headed to go kabloo on the fan. But no one's going to jump out and shout from the rooftops that, oh, World War III has started. But I think that the following examples lay a solid case for the wheels of war being in motion, at least in a way that's beyond our circles of influence at this point. Buckle up for a quick overview. First, in Europe, we've got Sweden, Estonia, and Norway making various flavors of announcements to tell their citizens to prepare for war. Britain has gone so far as bringing up conscription for men and women and stating that war is inevitable in the next 20 years, while Germany is pledging to be the military backbone of defense of Europe. Also, consider that Russia's leaked plans, even if that leak was fake or not 100% real, or whatever fourth dimensional chess voodoo hoodoo that's supposed to be, I still think it fairly well demonstrates that there is a long-term plan for conflict. Definitely longer than the goldfish attention span in the United States. But there's more! NATO is holding its largest military exercise in the last 40 years, amassing around 100,000 troops over the next few weeks in the direction of Russia. As a wise prepper once said, there are no military exercises, only World War III disguises. I think we should also look then at how much money and resources China is spending on exercises around Taiwan as just another World War III disguise. They wouldn't be spending that much money and fuel if they didn't genuinely plan on taking Taiwan. They also really disapprove of how Taiwan's most recent election turned out, and are kind of committed to doing everything in their power to take back the island. It's just a matter of when. Though I think a ground invasion is pretty unlikely, a lot of chaos could come just from sea and airstrikes. Let's not forget that very recently North Korea launched some missiles into the Yellow Sea, and that made South Korea put themselves on the highest state of alert. There's unavoidable escalation happening over in the European brawl, and we've got a tinderbox ready to blow in the Far East, while in the Middle East, we have Israel arming their citizens. I heard an air control center was recently bombed, and so hospitals in Lebanon and Israel are doing mass casualty drills. It's a mess. But it's thought by military analysts and the government of Israel that if a deal can't be reached within about a month, then war with Hezbollah is imminent. All the while, Israel is also verbally wanting to fight with Iran, saying that it's the head of the octopus. I need to learn more about those geopolitics. But on top of that, you've got the United States and Israel now shooting missiles at Yemen in retaliation for the Houthi rebels shooting missiles at ships in the Red Sea. It's just missiles. All this hoopla with the Suez Canal. Please somebody tell me, how is this not definitively the beginning of the end of the world as we know it? If you had heard headlines like that, all these missiles going back and forth and military operations slowly finally being called war back like pre-pandemic, this would have been called World War, I think quite quickly. Like, how did military industrial complexes everywhere not would have risen up? I don't know. How do we normal our way by up until now? How are more people not waking up to like the great peace that we've generally experienced in the last chunk of decades was a glorious anomaly in the grand scheme of human history and conflicts? It's been really, really nice. Like, I'm glad I got born in this chunk of history. But I don't know. How that works is so far out of my scope of influence that all I can really do is laugh about it. Well, our predicament really is no laughing matter, but I think that we all need the physical benefits of laughter after all that gloom. Whether it's going to be in 1 year, 5 years, or miraculously 20 years, conflict between nations is increasing in a country near you. But don't be worried about the glorified doom and gloom like conscription. Instead, be worried about how a war economy could change your life. A mushroom cloud is not likely to take you out nice and easy, so to help secure your standard of living for all of the things that are headed our way, my suggestion today is potatoes. Yes, potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. I personally prefer sweet potatoes, and this will be my first year attempting to grow either. But wait, have you heard of the true survival tactical tot, known as the Jerusalem artichoke, which is neither from Jerusalem nor an artichoke, but I hear it's like the honey badger of root crops. It doesn't take much for them to regrow in an area, and any food that you can grow on your own will be a compounding blessing to your future self. What happened to Victory Gardens? Why isn't that a thing? How do we reinvigorate that as a movement? If you agree with me, the future history books will say that World War III was already in motion in 2024. Commit to cultivating some kind of potato in your garden today. May this be the year of Victory Gardens. Willow the Sunshine Prepper out.